is Jett. He fell in love with Angel. Jett was just a kid when he contracted an infection.
It affected my growth plates in my hip and my knees up here. My legs just never grew.
Though his disability didn't stop him from finding love, others are often cruel to the couple about their height difference.
So we met on social media.
How are people finding each other on social media? You know, back in my day, the first thing you read on any chat site was, don't give away your contact details. And now, people are legitimately finding love on these sites. I feel like I've been lied to.
Initially, when I first spoke to Angel on social media, I was like, I have a little leg. And when I told her that,
this shot could not have been planned more. They literally just showed a tiny step a second ago that they clearly used to reach things on the top shelf. And also, what's that single solitary mug doing there all on its own? Either the producers of the show deliberately put that mug there thinking that we wouldn't notice, or Jett and Angel are very disorganized, which, as you'll see from Jett's shoe collection later, is highly unlikely.
initially when I first spoke to Angel on social media, I was like, I have a little leg. And when I told her that, she was like, okay, cool. And then we just kept conversating, you know? So it was like, she didn't really care.
Fellas and ladies, this is why personality is so important. This guy, Jett, has a disability that 90% of people would stick their nose up at, but he's so likable as a person, constantly smiling, constantly cracking jokes. That's the kind of energy you want to be around. Not an RBF stonewaller who expects you to spaff money on their face like some kind of Wall Street bukkake scene.
Name? Just so I don't forget this time.
Say it 3 times, okay?
Yeah.
Davina,
Davina.
that's 1.
1.
Again,
Davina.
1 more time.
Davina.
Perfect.
Grace. Davina. How you going?
Don't play with me.
Huh? I'm fun like that.
You're fun.
Yeah, I'll call you Grace one more time. No, don't do that.
Onward.
My man's Jett is a short king.
Can we stop saying short king, because it doesn't glamorize short people at all. It doesn't lift them up, or just stop.
I wasn't born like this. I actually caught staph infection in the hospital. It affected the growth plates in my hip and my knees. And it also left me completely deaf in my left ear.
Staph infections are no joke. I've had about a dozen staph infections and it almost killed me on one occasion. My entire leg swelled up, burning red. I could literally see the infection trailing up one of my lymphatic tracts. Had to go to A&E, obviously, and was put on a drip and had antibiotics for like a week or 2. Wear your rash guard, guys, and take a shower once in a while.
When we started talking to each other, we was already at that vibe. So we like just clicked. So when he told me, I was like, okay, whatever, I don't care. I didn't really judge him. It was like a special thing. We had the same birthday, so I looked past his flaw.
I don't know how I feel about her describing his short leg as a flaw. You know, whenever I've loved someone, their unique characteristics really stood out as huge positives. And you don't even have to be in love to feel this way about someone. I was with someone who had a sizable birthmark around her neck, and it didn't bother me in the slightest. That said, if it was on someone else, I probably wouldn't have been able to look past it. But this is why having a good personality is so important. It creates a pathway for others to experience your mind instead of an RBF stonewalling your every question.
I don't know. I like your smile.
Wow, so you think I'm ugly?
I can't win this.
I was like, that's something special. Oh.
Your hands are way too cold for that.
No, look, they warm.
No, your hands are
Let
cold.
me try.
That's cold. That's cold.
Take it. It's love.
That is genuinely wholesome. If she's putting this on, she's pretty effing good, I'll tell you that right now. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. This is the kind of connection guys want. Not stonewally over here.
Most of the judgment we get is really on social media. They say I'm a gold digger. They say I'm using him for his money. He get disability checks. His girl is giving off a lot of man vibes. Glad I'm not the only one thinking his girl is actually his guy. Like, God, they say a lot of hurtful stuff.
She's 1000% cheating on you. Your rap name should be Leggy Small.
The delivery on that was mwah.
They also say that I don't look happy when I be with him. Oh, she looks miserable. Oh, she's definitely using him. She don't even look happy. It's like, how can you tell just from looking at my face? Like,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It gets to me, it doesn't get to him. He thinks it's funny, but to me, I guess because we're different, it actually bothers me because I'm like, I'm not a guy. We've been together for 10 years. How am I using you? Or how am I a gold digger?
10 years is a very long time. Is she with him for his cash or clout? I don't know, man. I can't quite work this one out. What do you think?
The thing I could say that really bothered me about it is people feel like on social media, people with disabilities can't have a good career, they can't have a good wife, they can't have kids, they can't have money, they can't work for themselves.
Preach, man. You know, his name on TikTok sounded like he was some kind of musician, but it looks like he's more of a content creator now. And either way, you know, you found your passion in life and you're following it. So good on you, Jett.
I was about 3 or 4 years old. We walked into a doctor office and they gave me a boot on my shoe, orthopedic lift. Ever since then, I've just been wearing a lift on my shoes. When I was younger, I didn't care about having a little leg and a boot on my shoes, but when I got into about high school, that's when you start becoming more self-conscious. And that's when I kind of started worrying more about the shoes I have on. So the best thing was to get the coolest sneakers.
That right there is exactly the right thing to do. Turn your insecurities into something that makes you appealing. Jett had a very obvious, in his girlfriend's words, flaw, but he didn't let that stop him from being the best person he could be, as they say. I really respect that. Absolutely, 100%. Click.
When you have a disability, people want you to be fine with the bare minimum, and I don't think that's cool. I own over 100 pairs.
Bit excessive, but it's your thing, so carry on.
It costs $165 per boot to put the shoe on. I wish I could say an expensive hobby.
Why couldn't he have done that with the mug earlier?
I wish I could say an expensive hobby, but it's more like an expensive hobby in medical. The way I looked at it when I walk outside, people gonna stare at my shoes or my legs regardless. So I always figured might as well have like the coolest sneaker on.
Are shoes called drips now? Why? What's wrong with the word shoe?
I think it's actually cool because I never seen nobody do this before, and the kids love him. Like when we go out, they be like, "Oh my God, you're the guy with the shoe! You're the guy with the shoe!" Like every time we go out, they just love him. And our son, he looks at him as a superhero. It's Flamingo Man.
Come on, it's hard not to like these guys.
Overall on social media, I have well over 1 million followers, probably over 1 billion views.
All right, brag.
Did was like in our dining room, it was like acting like we was in a museum. He's trying to come up to me, trying to, holler at me or whatever. And I'm like, I don't date short guys. And then he stands on his tall legs like, what about now?
You know, when he stands on his regular sized leg, he's actually quite tall. This should be an infomercial for shorter guys. I don't see a shade of resentment in her eyes when she looks at him. It's a bit sad to think that they get all this shit from people in their comment section, but this is the internet, so go figure. As a slightly below average height man myself, I can feel his pain when he talks about finding a partner, etc. But like him, I focused on other things, and when you do that, you end up attracting people instead of chasing them, which, in my opinion, is the best way to go about these things, especially nowadays when you'd be accused of this, that, and the other for simply glancing at someone. Anyways, I thought I'd cover this video because the last few are a bit sad and triggery, so it's nice to lighten up the mood a bit. And hey, guess what? We're at 475 subscribers now, 25 away from 500. That is madness. Again. Thank you so much for subbing if you've done so recently. You're the ones making this growth possible. It might just be one click on your end, but it's a big deal on mine. So thank you. If you want to chat, drop a comment down below and I'll talk to you there.